Next, starting 6:58 p.m. You are designing an online banking application which needs to have a distributed session data management. Currently, the application is hosted on auto-scaling group on on-demand EC2 instances across multiple AZs with a classic load balancer that distributes load. Which of the following options should you do to satisfy the given requirement? So we just need distributed session data. Set up AWS System Manager, Session Manager, enable sticky session feature in classic load balancer. That sounds good. Use Elasticache. And use get session token action. I mean, systems manager, session manager, I'm not sure if that's even a thing. Sticky session feature on classic load balancer is nice. But I don't know if that's going to do anything for the connection with other places. So let's say currently the application is hosted on auto-scaling group of on-demand EC2 instances across multiple AZs with a classic load balancer that distributes the load. Which of the following options should you do? Sticky will keep it open, I think. So, and you want it to be distributed session data. It needs to have a distributed session data management. That sounds stupid, but I would use, I mean, one of these, but let's just go on. Let's move on quick. A financial analytics application that collects, processes, and analyzes stock data in real time is using Kinesis data streams. The producers continually push data to Kinesis data streams while the consumers process the data in real time. In Amazon Kinesis, where can consumers store their results? Oh, choose two? Kinesis, the Redshift, data warehouse, or maybe like S3 doesn't sound bad, but I only get to choose two. Glue doesn't sound right. Athena's database sounds cool, but not like a long-term storage thing. Glacier Select sounds like a service to query Glacier, so I'm gonna choose these two. An application which uses multiple EBS volumes cannot cope with the growing storage requirements needed to store their data. Your IT manager instructs you to set up a S3 bucket as a replacement for their EBS volumes. Which of the following options is correct regarding the naming convention of the S3 bucket? Must be unique across all existing bucket names in Amazon S3. That's true. By default, the S3 bucket is not owned by the AWS account that created it. Sure. Bucket names must be at least 5 and no more than 63 characters long. Okay, bucket names can be formatted as IP address such as I like this one. And maybe the bucket is on, you know, must be unique across all existing bucket names. Yeah, gonna leave it as that. There's only one choice. You are a solutions architect working for a major investment bank in London. Your IT manager instructed you to prepare a migration plan from your on-premises application architecture to AWS. During your design process, you considered the current security of your on-premise application. Which among the following does AWS provide for you as a part of the shared responsibility model? Choose two. What do they do? What do they provide? Oh, the shared responsibility model? What do they provide? Operation similar patch for spot and on-demand EC2 instances. Physical network infrastructure. User access to virtualization infrastructure. Sounds good too. But they both do this. Choose two. I mean, this sounds like a good answer too, but I'm just gonna stick with OS patching for spot and on-demand EC2 instances. Let me think about that for a bit though. Otherwise, I just choose physical network infrastructure and virtualization infrastructure, whatever the hell that means. Yeah, I'll just keep these. You're setting up a configuration management in your existing cloud architecture where you have to deploy and manage your EC2 instances, including the other AWS resources using Chef Puppet. Which of the following is most suitable? In this case, we're using OpsWorks. Alright, you're working as for a data analytics startup that collects clickstream data and stores them in an S3 bucket. You need to launch an AWS Lambda function to trigger your ETL jobs. I'm not pretty sure what ETLs are. ETL job. Like some report? What's ETL? Extract, transform, load. To trigger your ETL jobs to run as soon as the new data becomes available in S3. Which of the following services? It's going to be which of the following services can you use to extract, transform, and load ETL? Service can you use an extract, transform, and load service in this scenario? I don't know if S3 Select can do that. I'm gonna say step function in this case. Like, I think this is for querying. I'm not sure what you can do with this, and I have no pleasure on that. You're working as a solutions architect for a large financial company. They have a web app hosted in their on-prem infrastructure, which they want to migrate to AWS Cloud. Your manager had instructed you to ensure that there is no downtime while the migration process is ongoing. Oof. No downtime while the migration process is going. In order to achieve this, your team had decided to divert 50% of the traffic to the new application in AWS and the other 50% to the application hosted in the on-prem infrastructure. And once the migration is over and the application works no issues, full diversion. Which of the following steps would you be able to satisfy this environment? Load balancer, Route 53 weighted, network load balancers to divert the traffic between the on-prem and AWS hosted application elastic load balancer, an application ELB. That sounds funny. Application load balancer to divert the proportion the traffic between the on-prem and AWS hosted application. Use Route 53 with failover route to divert the proportion of traffic between. Use Route 53 with weighted routed traffic to divert the traffic between on-prem. I mean, at this point, I don't know if I'd use Route 53. I just put a load balancer in front of it. And it's just a web app hosted on-prem. Your manager had instructed to ensure there's no downtime migration. In order to achieve this, your team has decided to divert 50% of traffic to the new application and other 50% application hosted on-prem infra. Once the migration is over and the application works with no issues, full diversion to AWS will be. I mean, only because I said it's a web app, I would say the higher level layer. Route 53 with failover routing, I wouldn't do that, but I would definitely use the weighted routing. Divert and proportion the traffic between the on-prem and AWS hosted app. No, I'd probably go with this. Just personally. Company has 10 terabytes of infrequently accessed financial data files that would need to be stored in AWS. These data would be accessed infrequently during specific weeks when they are retrieved for auditing purposes. The retrieval time is not strict as long as it does not exceed 24 hours, which of the following would be secure, durable, and cost effective. All these are using lifecycle policies to transfer the data over. Um, Financial data. Be secure, durable, and cost effective. I mean, Glacier has different times, but I don't know if you want to pay for them. Get out of here. How long? Long. There we go. Few hours. Okay, so definitely Glacier in this case. Thought it was much longer. I don't know. What I don't understand is why you would want to go and and just go directly from the console. That's so weird. I'm weirded out. I'm gonna go with this. Oh, I don't know this. You are deploying a prototype for a cryptocurrency news website of a small startup. The website will be deployed to a Spot EC2 Linux instance and use Amazon Aurora as a database. You requested a Spot instance at a maximum price of 4 cents an hour, which has been fulfilled immediately, and after 90 minutes, the Spot increases to 6 cents an hour. And then your instance was terminated by AWS. In this scenario, what would be the total cost of running an instance? Like 8 cents, right? I mean, I thought you got charged per hour, right? But maybe they charged down to minutes in this case. But what's half of that? 6 cents? Okay, what you use? Ooh. You're working for a multinational telecommunications company. Your IT manager is willing to consolidate their log streams, including the access application and security logs, in a single system. Wow. Once consolidated, the company wants to analyze these logs in real time based on heuristics. There will be some time in the future where the company will need to validate heuristics, which requires going back to data samples extracted from the last 12 hours. What is the best approach to meet this requirement? Consolidate all the logs, stream them into some place, and analyze them? There will be some time in the future the company needs to validate. Jesus. It's a joke, but it's not a joke at the same time. S3 to EMR. Don't logs to Amazon Kinesis, then after develop a client process to apply heuristics on the logs. First configure Amazon CloudTrail to receive custom logs and use EMR to apply. No, send all log events to Amazon SQS, then set up a auto-scaling group of EC2 servers to consume the logs and finally apply a heuristics. But how are you going to apply the heuristics? The answer is with EMR probably. So no, first set up auto-scaling group and then store the log on S3, and then finally use EMR to apply the logs. Why do you have to set up the EC2 auto-scaling group? You have to like apply it to EMR, I guess. I'm gonna say it's this. In real time, you want to consolidate all the logs. The company wants to analyze these logs in real time based on heuristics. First set up auto-scaling group, store logs in S3, then finally use EMR to apply heuristics on the logs. I mean, EMR is job based. You get a bunch of them. In real time, you can't. I don't know if EMR can do that in real time. I don't think it can. Analyze events from Kafka, Kinesis, and other streaming space, which is in real time. Real time. You have to use Spark streaming. Alright, let's just say it's this then. Fuck it. A leading e-commerce company is in need of a storage solution that can be accessed by 1,000 Linux servers and multiple availability zones. Service should be able to handle the rapidly changing data at scale while still maintaining high performance. It should also be highly durable and highly available. It's all of it. Rapidly changing data at scale. Okay, be able to handle the rapidly changing data at scale. Okay, while still maintaining high performance. It should be highly durable and highly available whenever the servers will pull data from it. So reading, little need for management. As a solution architect, which of the following services is the most cost-effective choice that you should use to meet the above requirement? Huh? Rapidly changing data and scale while still maintaining high performance. Oh, this is a tricky one. There we go. S3 needs like barely any management. You gotta choose it. A junior DevOps engineer deployed a large EBS-backed EC2 instance to host a Node.js web app in AWS, which was developed by an IT contractor. Alright, he properly configured the security group and used the key pair name tutorials dojo key, which has a pen file private key. The EC2 instance works as expected, and the junior DevOps engineer can connect to it using an SSH connection. The IT contractor was also given a key pair, and he has made various changes to the instance as well. Well, There we go again. Variation the instance as well to the files located in the SSH folder to make the Node.js app work. After a few weeks, the IT contractor and the junior DevOps engineer cannot connect to these instances anymore, even with a valid private key file. They're constantly getting server refused their key arrow, and even though their private key is valid. In this scenario, which of the following options is not a possible reason for this issue? If you're using an SSH private key but the corresponding public key is not unauthorized key files, you don't have permission for your authorized key file, you don't have permission to the SSH folder. The SSH private key that you're using has it's definitely that. The private key you're using has permission to send stuff out. It doesn't matter. You are implementing a hybrid architecture for your company where you're connecting to their Amazon virtual VPC to their on-prem network. Wow. Which of the following can be used to create a private connection between your VPC and your company's on-prem network? Your IT director instructed you to choose one, right? Okay. Your IT director instructed you to ensure that all the AWS resources in your VPC don't go beyond their service limit. Wow. Which of the following services can help with this task? Are you kidding me? An online shopping platform is hosted on an auto-scaling group of on-demand EC2 instances. Wow, that's cool. With a default auto-scaling termination policy and no instance protection configured. The system is deployed across 3 AZs in the US West region with the application load balancer in front to provide high availability and fault tolerance for the shopping platform. US West 1A, 1B, and 1C have 10, 8, and 7 instances running respectively. Due to the low number of incoming traffic, the scale-in operation has been triggered. Which of the following will the auto-scaling group do to determine which instance to terminate first in the scenario? Choose 3. What will it do? Choose the availability zone with the most number of instances, which is US 1A availability zone. Sounds right. Choose the availability zone with the least number of instances. Doesn't sound right. Select the instance with the most recent launch configuration. Oldest. Select the instance with the closest to next billing hour. Select the instance that is closest to the next billing hour. So they paid for it. I don't know which one it takes. This will be a bummer if I don't get this one right. Simply because the oldest line configuration, so close to the next billing hour in that case. It follows that logic. Like the one that's been used the longest. Okay. An application is hosted in an auto-scaling group of EC2 instances. To improve the monitoring process, you have to configure the current capacity to increase or decrease based on a set of scaling adjustments. Oh, the monitoring process. You should have. This should be done by specifying the scaling metrics and threshold values for the CloudWatch alarms that trigger the scaling process. Which of the following is the most suitable type of scaling policy that you can use? What? An application is hosted on the auto-scaling group of EC2 instances. To improve the monitoring process, you have to configure the current capacity to increase or based on a set of scaling adjustments. This should be done by specifying the scaling metrics and threshold value. Okay, I get it, but which of the following is most suitable? Target tracking scaling, step scaling, simple scaling, and scheduled scaling. I don't think it's scheduled. Based on a set of scaling adjustments. Target scaling adjustment. This should be done. Step scaling, man. This should be done by specifying the scaling metrics and the threshold values.
To acknowledge the risks of being vulnerable,
Symbol scaling might be nice too, but step scaling sounds like it's the right thing. I don't know. I'm gonna keep it there. You are working as a solutions architect for a multinational IT consultancy company where you are managing an application hosted in an auto-scaling group of EC2 instances, which stores data in an S3 bucket. Wow. You must ensure that the data are encrypted at rest using an encryption key that is both provided and managed by the company. This change should also provide AES 256 encryption to their data to comply with the strict security policy of the company. Which of the following actions should you implement to achieve this? It has to be at rest, encrypted. You must ensure the data are encrypted at rest. But where? Always? No, if it's at rest, you don't need to do this. You don't need to encrypt over the wire. Implement S3 server-side encryption with the manage encryption key. Choose 2. Encrypt the data on the client side before sending to S3 using their mask key. That sounds great. And then for S3, you want to enable encryption. But I don't know what manage encryption keys are. I know what KMS is. I'm gonna see if it's SSC. It sounds right. An application is hosted on an EC2 instance with multiple EBS volumes attached and uses Amazon Neptune as its database. Wow, I never heard that. To improve data security, you encrypted all the EBS volumes attached to the instance to protect the confidential data stored in the volumes. Which of the following statements are true about encrypted last EBS volumes, right? All data moving between the volume instance are encrypted. I'm gonna say yeah to that. Snapshots are automatically encrypted, are not automatically encrypted. Well, I think they're automatically encrypted. Only the data in the volume is encrypted, and not all the data moving between the volume. Okay, the volumes created from the encrypted snapshot. The volumes created from the encrypted snapshot. No, I think once it's encrypted, it's not changing that. Whoa. Close this. Let's get the other music going. Let's move on. That was only 2, right? Okay. You have EC2 instances running in your VPC. You have both UAT and production EC2 instances running. You want to ensure that employees who are responsible for UAT instances don't have access to work on the production instances to minimize your security risk. Which of the following will be the best way to achieve this? Launch the UAT and production EC2s in separate VPCs connected by VPC peering. In different availability zones. You want to ensure that they don't have access to work on them. Well, it'd be nice to launch them in different VPCs, but it's not going to stop anything. Define tags on UAT and production servers and add a condition to the IAM policy in which allows access to specific tags. Or you can create an IAM policy with a condition which allows access to only EC2 instances that are used for production, or I'm going to say it's that. You're working for a top IT consultancy and one of your clients asked you how to properly secure the AWS infrastructure. They have a VPC with 2, okay, I can't. How to properly secure their AWS infrastructure. They have a VPC with 2 on-demand EC2 instances with elastic IP addresses, which recently were under SSH brute force attacks over the internet. Their IT security team has identified the IP addresses where these attacks originated. Which of the following is the quickest way to fix this? What do you mean? Place the EC in a private subnet? No. Remove the internet gateway from the VPC. Block the IP addresses in the NACL. Deploy the EC2 instance as a private subnet and set up a bash and host. The quickest way to fix the security vulnerability. Fix the vulnerability. Allow you to properly secure their AWS infrastructure. They have VPC with 2 on-demand. Doesn't fix the vulnerability though. Why would you put them behind private subnets at this point? The quickest way. I don't know. I mean, this is probably the right answer. To deploy the EC2 into a private subnet and set up a bashing host, but at the same time, they're saying the quickest way. So you are assigned to design a highly available architecture in AWS. You have 2 target groups with 3 EC2 instances each. Wow. Okay, which are added to the application load balancer. Okay, and the security group of the EC2 instance. You have verified that the port 80 for HTTP is allowed. However, the instances are still showing out of service from the load balancer. What could be the root cause? I would say the health check configuration is not properly defined. Possible. You have an existing on-demand EC2 instance and you are planning to create new EBS volumes that will be attached to this instance. Okay. The data will be stored. The data that will be stored are confidential medical records, so you have to make sure the data is protected. How can you secure the data at rest with the new EBS volume? Oh, you gotta. The new that you will create. Okay, encrypt using. No. Yeah. What is this joke? Oh my gosh. You're managing a global news website which has a very high traffic. To improve the performance, you redesign the application architecture to use a classic load balancer with auto-scaling group and multiple AZs. However, you notice that one of the AZs is not receiving any traffic. What is the root cause of the issue? The auto-scaling should be disabled for the load balancer to route the traffic to multiple AZs. Whoa. Auto-scaling with an auto-scaling group and multiple AZs. What? To use a classic load balancer with an auto-scaling group and multiple. However, you notice that one of the AZs is not receiving traffic. Okay. By default, you're not allowed to use load balancer with multiple AZs. You have to send a request form in order for this to work. Let me think about that for a second. The classic load balancer is down. Classic WoW load balancer is down. I don't even know if this is true. If you have to send a request form to AWS to enable multiple AZs. Alright, you're managing global news website. To improve the performance, you redesign the application architecture to use classic load balancer with an auto-scaling group in multiple AZs. I don't think this is worded correctly. To improve the performance, you redesign the application architecture to use a classic load balancer with an auto-scaling group in multiple availability zones. However, you notice that one of the availability zones is not receiving any traffic. What is the root cause of this? Auto-scaling should be disabled for load balancer to route the traffic to multiple one. I don't know if I'll learn anything, but alright, before I go on, I would select auto-scaling should be disabled for the load balancer to route the traffic to multiple availability zones, but we're gonna check if you have to submit some sort of form for this. Classic load balancer, multiple AZ. Load balancer distributes multiple instances in multiple availability and this increase. Alright.
I got murder on my mind. 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 Murder on my mind. Oh, young nigga world, bitch.
No. Why is this happening? Exit. Well, this doesn't make any sense then. Should be disable. Chose this? Oh, this is probably the answer then, but we'll get wrecked, okay? You're managing a global news website which has very high traffic. To improve the performance, you redesign the application architecture, use a classic load balancer with an auto-scaling group and multiple AZs. However, you notice that one of the AZs is not receiving traffic. What is the root cause of this issue? I gotta choose this now. Auto scaling should be disabled for the load balancer to route traffic to multiple. Dumb. A leading media company has recently adopted a hybrid cloud architecture which requires them to migrate their app servers and databases in AWS. One of their applications requires a heterogeneous database migration in which you need to transform your on-prem Oracle database to Postgres in AWS. This entails a schema and code transformation before the proper data migration starts. Which of the following options is the most suitable approach to migrate the database in AWS? Most suitable. Ooh, not support AWS. You have to transform your database first to Postgres and then migrate to RDS. No. Configure a launch template that automatically converts the source schema and code to match that of the target database. Then use the database migration service to migrate data from the source database to the target. First, use the AWS schema conversion tool to convert the source schema. This one sounds right. Convert the source schema and code to match the target database. This is all dumb. But this Neptune seems like a database, so we're doing the schema conversion tool and the database migrate. As dumb as it sounds, it's probably the right thing. You recently launched a fleet of on-demand EC2 instances to host a massively multiplayer online role-playing game server on your VPC. The EC2 instances are configured with auto-scaling and AWS Systems Manager. Okay. What can you use to configure your EC2 instances without having to establish a RDP or SSH connection? What can you use to configure your EC2 instances without having to establish a RDP or SSH connection? Not code pipeline. I don't know what run command is. Maybe it's EC2 config. I've never heard about that, but I'm gonna say AWS config now. Ooh. What happens to the message? When a message visibility time expired, the message becomes available for processing by... That's what happens. I don't know if it comes back to the same EC2 instance. It doesn't make sense. It's gonna have to do... What if it never comes up? It's just gonna be when the message visibility timeout expires, the message becomes available for processing by other EC2 instances. That's what it's gonna be. A dedicated EC2 instance receives a message. It will remain in the queue and still assigned to the same EC2 instances when instances become online. I don't know what the hell I was trying to say there. You are an IT consultant for a top investment bank which is in the process of building its new Forex trading platform to ensure high availability and scalability. You designed the trading platform to use an elastic load balancer in front of an auto-scaling group of on-demand EC2 instances across multiple AZs. For its database tier, you chose to use a single Aurora instance to take advantage of its distributed, fault-tolerant, and self-healing storage system. In the event of a system failure on the primary database instance, what happens when to Aurora during a failover?
This shit right here on 40. Hey, this shit here brazen. I don't find amazing. Crackers let me off probation, so I feel amazing. Ride around the city with this motherfucking top. Catch a nigga slipping, swear to God, we catch a...
Maybe it just sets the C name to a replica. You have a web app hosted on a fleet of EC2 instances located in 2 AZs that are all placed behind an ALB. Okay. As a solutions architect, you have to add a health check configuration to ensure your application is highly available. Which health checks will you implement? From an application load balancer? I mean, ICMP sounds cool, but HP or HPS health check. Why not? I don't know. We're gonna go on. To start a company you are working for, you are asked to design a web application that requires a NoSQL database that has no limit on the request capacity or storage size for a given table. No limit on the request capacity or the storage size of a given table. The startup is still new in the market and still has very limited human resources who can take care of the database infrastructure. Which is the most suitable service? Fully managed, scalable, and highly available in a NoSQL. I don't know what Neptune is, but DynamoDB is always the answer. A web app is deployed in an on-demand EC2 instance in your VPC. There is an issue with the application which requires you to connect it to it via SSH. Which of the following is needed in order to access EC2 from the internet? I have to choose 3. These sound all great right here. Alright, that's good enough, good enough. A news company is planning to use a hardware security module, CloudHSM, in AWS for secure key storage of their web apps. You have launched the CloudHSM cluster, but after just a few hours, the support staff mistakenly attempted to log in as the admin 3 times using a valid password in the HSM. This has caused HSM to be zeroized, which means that the encryption keys on it have been wiped. Unfortunately, you do not have a copy of the keys stored anywhere else. How can you obtain a new copy of keys that you have stored? A new copy of the keys that you have stored on. Okay, so I don't know if there's snapshots of these keys being stored, though. This is a bad problem to have. I gotta look this up. CloudHSM makes periodic backups of your cluster. You can't instruct. I mean, that's what it says. Looks like we're doing restore with snapshots. It says, unfortunately, you do not have a copy of the keys stored anywhere else. You can obtain a new copy of keys that you have stored. How can you obtain a new copy of the keys that you have stored? You did not have a copy of the keys stored anywhere else. Is this something that's on? That's all I need to know. Nice. Nice.
If you searching for that person who can change your
I don't know. This is tricky. I'm just gonna move on. You create a new CloudFormation template that creates 4 EC2 instances and are connected to one ELB. Which section of the template should you configure to get domain name, server, hostname of the ELB, the DNS hostname of the ELB upon the creation of the AWS stack? It has to be outputs, my dude. You're working as an IT consultant for a large financial firm. Because that's relevant information, right? They have a requirement to store irreproducible financial documents. Okay. Using S3 for the quarterly reporting, the files are required to be retrieved after a period of 3 months. There will be some occasions when a surprise audit will be held, which requires access immediately. I would not choose any of these. I'll just choose Deep Archive. And pay whatever the processing fee you need. An on-demand EC2 instance is, well, let me double check. Let me double check that. Maybe it's Glacier Deep Archive. There's access rarely in a year.
And I ain't beefing about no bitches, I got plenty. Everything gon' happen like it's meant to be. I'm getting money, everything else ain't shit to me. Growing up a couple friends close than family. When them times get hard, is you gon' stand by me? I done been through situations that show me who real. I've been to jail a couple times, I swear to God I ain't square. They was looking for me talking trafficking, but the feds, and I still salute the kid. That boy know what he did. Yeah, everything gon' happen like it's meant to be. I'ma see who really meant for me. Pray my niggas never change on me. Switch lanes on me. Hoes tryna run they little game on me. Been through a lot, this ain't a game to me. Cold world, I keep my flame on me. Money ain't a thing to me. Lost people make the world, it ain't the same to me. It's gon' happen like it's meant to be. I'ma see who really meant for me. Pray my niggas never change on me. Switch lanes on me.
Not what I want to know. They have another page for this or something? Glacier Deep Archive retrieval times. I wonder what I could have did to help treat it. Believe me, but everything happened for a reason. Bitch, I'm going harder. My brothers and my sister need me. Bitch, I'm grinding smarter. And every day I wake up to get my cake up. A cup of coffee. The existing S3 Glacier storage class allows you to access your data in minutes using expedited retrieval. It is a good fit for data that requires faster access. To learn more about the... Okay. I can switch the storage class of the S3 object to Glacier Deep Archive. Yeah, whatever. And they're saying immediately, are they? What do I do? Which requires access to the archive data that they need to present immediately. Immediately? What does that even mean? I'm not getting anything.
I've been going so hard for all the times I couldn't afford shit. Piss poor, I was avoiding rent. Mad at school 'cause I got creases in my foot.
I don't like this. Just take me to the page. No, there we go. Yeah, this is not helping me. If they're saying 12 hours. I can't even choose any of them. I can't even choose Glacier in this case. I do not like this. Where's the white paper? Where's the fucking white paper on this? That's what I need. Right now. Right now. What is this? Alright, we're looking for Deep Archive. Glacier. Hello?
Hey, just keep pushing, man. You don't need nobody. You know, as long as you believe in yourself, that's all that matters. Whether it's trapping or rapping, anything in between. Just get out there and go get it, man. Remain focused, you know? Cause nobody got you like you got yourself.
Do they not have any real documentation on this? Not good. Okay. Just losing my brain, dude. Within 12 hours. Damn. Can't believe I messed this up. So dumb. Anyway, fuck it. Okay, this is killing me. So I'm just gonna say IA now because it says. Jeez. An on-demand EC2 instance is launched in a beat. I'm pissed after that question. That was an annoying question. Well, a lot of time was spent on that. An on-demand EC2 instance. Okay, let me see if I'm. Oh, God. An on-demand EC2 instance is launched into a VPC subnet with the network ACL configured to allow all inbound traffic and deny all outbound traffic. Okay, the instance security group has an inbound rule to allow SSH from any IP address and does not have any outbound rules. Okay. In this scenario, what are the changes needed to allow SSH connection to the instance? You need... Yeah. I mean, you don't... No, the outbound network ACL needs to be modified to allow outbound traffic. That's all you need to do. Don't ask me how I know. It's because it's stateless. An investment bank has a distributed batch processing application which is hosted in an auto-scaling group of SPA EC2 instances with an SQS queue. Oh, that's cute. You configure your components to use client-side buffering so that the calls made from the client will be buffered first and then sent as a batch request to SQS. What is a period of time during which a SQS queue prevents other consuming components from receiving? Let's call the visibility timeout. God damn. You are consulted by a multimedia company that needs to deploy web services to AWS region which they have never used before. Okay, the company currently has an IAM role for the EC2 instance which permits that instance to access DB. They want their EC2 instances in a new region to have the same exact privileges. What should they do in a new region to have the same exact privileges? Oh god. In the new region, create a new IAM role associated policies and assign to the instance. Okay, assign the existing IAM role to the instance in the new region. Duplicate the IAM role and associated policies to the new region. Attach it to instances. Create an AMI for the instance and copy it to the new region. Lord, the joke. A financial company wants to store their data in Amazon S3, but at the same time, they want to store their frequently accessed data locally on their on-prem server. This is due to the fact they do not have an option to extend their on-prem storage. Okay, which is why they're looking for a durable and scalable storage service in AWS. What is the best solution for this? Wow. Okay. The financial company wants to store their data in S3, but at the same time they have to store their frequently accessed data locally on-prem. This is due to the fact that they do not have an option to extend their on-prem storages, which is why they are looking for a durable and scalable storage service to use in AWS. Durable and scalable.
Smoke, please believe me. You a bitch, little nigga. Your mama shoulda swallowed that shit. Ain't no internet beef, so don't tweet. We leave it in the streets. And if it's up there, it's stuck there. Better keep your heat. It's the youngin', huh? The Project Youngin', man. Can't take me down, man.
Shit, dude, at this point. What a stupid situation to be in. Use both Elastic Cache and S3 for frequently accessed data. Oh lord. Use a fleet of EC2 instances with EBS volumes. Storage gateway in this case. I mean, I do Glacier too, but like it says, financial company wants to store their data in S3, but at the same time they want to store their frequently accessed data locally on their on-prem service. It's due to the fact that they do not have an option to extend their on-prem storage, which is why they're looking for durable and scalables. Yeah. You're working as a solutions architect for a leading technology company where you are instructed to troubleshoot the operational issues of your cloud architecture by logging the AWS API call history. of your resources. You need to quickly identify the most recent changes made to your resources nearby. Blah blah blah. One of the requirements is that the generated log file should be encrypted and avoid any secure. Oh. What's the point of saving them? You need to quickly identify the most recent changes made to resources, right? Including creation, modification, deletion, AWS read. One of the requirements is that the generated log file should be encrypted. Okay. And configure the destination S3 bucket to use SE. Yeah. Moving on from that. You're running an EC2 instance, store-based instance. Okay, EC2 store instance store-based instance. Okay, so I'm using instance store. That's funny. You shut it down and start the instance. You notice that the data you have saved earlier is no longer available. The volume of an instance was not big. Okay. Oh, it was hit by the virus, definitely. You're planning to migrate a MySQL database from your on-prem data center to AWS Cloud. This database will be used by a legacy batch application that has steady state workloads in the morning but has peak load at night. For the end of the day, you need to choose an EBS volume which can handle a maximum of 450 GB of data. And also be used as a system boot volume for EC2 instance. Which of the following is the most cost-effective storage type in this scenario? Steady state workloads in the morning, but has a peak load at night for the end of day processing. Maybe you need to have the provision IOPS. You need to choose EBS volume which can handle a maximum of 450 GB of data and can also be used as system boot volume. Cold. The most cost effective, general purpose, throughput optimized, cold or provision. Provision, I would say. Or cold, but provision in this case. You are working as a solutions architect for a fast-growing startup, which has started operations during the past 3 months. They currently have an on-premise AD and 10 computers. You are working as a solutions architect for a fast-growing startup, which started. To save costs in the procuring physical workstation, decided to deploy virtual desktops for their new employees in a virtual private cloud in AWS. The new cloud infrastructure should leverage on an existing security controls in AWS, but can still communicate with their on-premise network. Which set of AWS services will you use to meet these requirements?
hoes for free. Lot of niggas tryna do it, but they not like me. I got tired of being broke, I got trapped in these streets. So I'm strapped with this heat, make sure my family eat for real.
You know this shit adding up right now, you know what I'm saying? Like, got that chicken, Taliban gang, Taliban gang. Same thing.
Well, let's reread this. Working as a solution architect, fast growing, slow level in 3 months. They currently have an on-premise Active Directory and 10 computers to save costs and procuring physical workstation. They decided to deploy virtual desktops for their new employees in a virtual private cloud in AWS. The new cloud infrastructure should leverage on existing security controls in AWS, but can still communicate with their on-prem network. Which of the the hell is Amazon Workspaces? I'm gonna say this. A loan process application is hosted in a single on-demand EC2 instance in your VPC. To improve the scalability of your application, you have to use auto-scaling to automatically add new EC2 instances to handle search of incoming requests. Which of the following items should be done in order to add an existing EC2 instance to the auto-scaling group? What?
Same niggas with me, every day I recount. Only way I ever seen your bitch was on her kneecap. Every nigga in my car strap, fuck a seatbelt. All these pussy niggas join the game because they need help. We fucking our shit in the club. It hard for a bitch to sleep when she sleep with a thug. See me above or see me with nothing at all. Give me the love, cause people been want me to fall. I never turn my back on my brother and I never will. He know I never steal, and I will never tell on him. Anything I got or ever had, he can get half of. Even when I'm mad, Lord, we call it.
Which one of the following items should be done in order to add an existing EC2 instance to an auto-scaling group? An existing.
Got that chicken, ran it up. You don't give a fuck about you, wet you up. Hey, nigga, my wrist has a foreign car on me. I get the flip in my wrist with that all of my homie. Whoa. Gotta be a real shooter to stand by us. Taliban gang, we wet this party up. All my niggas still want a game bang. And I'm still running with the same gang. I just empty clip and flip the clip. 50 big bullets in the clip. Oh, my brother, my goon, my nigga, my partners. Hold up. We try to be cool, these niggas want problems.
The instance is launched as one of the availabilities only to define an AZ. The auto-scaling group. No. You must stop the instance. You have to ensure the AMI used to launch the instance still exists. Maybe you don't have to stop it. That might be the truth, but you have to ensure the AMI used to launch the instance exists still, and the instance is launched in the same AZ as the autoscaling group. It'll probably be fine. You're working for a large financial company. In their enterprise application, they want to apply a group of database-specific settings to their RDSs. Which of the following options can be used to easily apply the settings in one go for all the relational database instances? Parameter groups probably, non-security or NACLs or IAMLs. Yeah. A client is hosting their company website on a cluster of web servers that are behind a public-facing load balancer. The client also uses... Okay. The client also uses Route 53 to manage their public DNS. Oh yeah. Alright, let me read. The client is hosting the company website and a cluster of web servers that are behind a public-facing load balancer. The client also uses Amazon Route 53 to manage their public DNS. How should the client configure the DNS zone apex record to point to the load balancer? Oh, Jesus. How should the client configure the DNS zone apex record to point to the load balancer? An A record pointing to the IP to the DNS name. There we go. An A record alias to load balancer DNS name then. Probably not the A record pointing to IP. Yeah. Next. You recently launched a news website which is expected to be visited by millions of people around the world. You chose to deploy the website in AWS to take advantage of its extensive range of cloud services and global infrastructure. Aside from AWS region availability zones, which of the following is part of the AWS global infrastructure? Really? Killing me. You're setting up a cost-effective architecture for a log processing application which has frequently accessed throughput-intensive workloads. The application should be hosted in on-demand EC2 instance in your VPC. Which of the following is the most suitable EBS volume? It's going to be throughput optimized then. A hard drive? Whoa. Frequently accessed? A lot of reads? Throughput intensive workloads. You're setting up a cost effective. Okay, cost effective HED throughput optimized. Okay, you have a web app running on EC2 instances which processes sensitive financial information. All the data stored all of the data are stored on an S3 bucket. The financial information is accessed by users over the internet. The security team of the company is concerned that the internet connectivity to Amazon S3 is a security risk. In this scenario, what do you do to resolve the security concern?
Sunshine gon' come with rainy days. Coding take the pain away. Kobe at the 3, while down by 2, the way gon' fade away. I know they hate, I made a way for my niggas, I paid away. I'm at the top, they at the bottom, starving. Guess that mean it's safe to say that I really came from the trenches.
Gateway VPC endpoint, that's it. Change the web architecture to access financial data through a gateway VPC endpoint. Sadly, I do not think that S3 has private link. It has gateway. See? Oh, I knew it. You have an on-demand EC2 instance with an attached EBS volume. That's great. There's a scheduled job that creates a snapshot of the EBS volume every midnight at 12 AM. That's when midnight is, when the instance is not used. One night, there has been a production incident where you need to perform a change on both the instance and on the EBS volume at the same time. When the snapshot is currently taking place, which of the following scenarios is true when it comes to usage of the EBS volume while the snapshot is in progress? I think you read, but you can't write, right? No, I think you do everything, actually. Volume can be used while the snapshot is in progress. The volume cannot be detached or attached to the EC2 instance of the snapshot completes. The EBS volume can be used in read-only mode while the snapshot is in progress. Because there's been a production instance, and you need to perform a change on both the instance and the EBS volume at the same time. I think it could be still used.
Down in your soul, you can't love no one when you done so much. You can't trust no one. I feel I'm walking down the wrong road.
I'm not even... You can still use them, right? You can remount and use your volume while the snapshot status is pending, but if you can pause any file writes to the volume long enough to take a snapshot, I'm saying you can still use it, doesn't matter. The startup company that you're working for is a batch job application that's currently hosted on an EC2 instance. It is set to process messages from a queue created in SQS with default settings. You configure the application to process a message once a week. After 2 weeks, you notice that not all messages are being processed by the application. What is the root cause? After 2 weeks, you notice that not all messages are being processed because it gets deleted after 2 weeks. Okay, that's the max time they can stay in there. Like, I think it's like 4 days or something. The batch job application is configured long point sort volume. No. You just joined a large tech company with an existing Amazon VPC. When reviewing the auto-scaling events, you notice that their web app is scaling up and down multiple times within an hour. What design change can you make to optimize cost while preserving elasticity? I would change the cooldown period of the auto-scaling group and set CloudWatch metric to higher threshold, or Increase the base number of autoscale instances. No. A health organization is using a large dedicated EC2 instance with multiple EBS volumes to host its health records web app. The EBS volumes must be encrypted due to confidential data that they are handling and also to comply with HIPAA. In EBS encryption, what service does AWS use to secure the volumes data at rest? KMS? No. I'm gonna look at it again. No, no, yes, no, maybe, yes. You're required to deploy Docker-based batch applications to your VPC in AWS. The application will be used to process both mission-critical data as well as non-essential batch jobs. Which of the following is the most cost-effective option to use in implementing this architecture? You're required to deploy a Docker-based batch application to your VPC in AWS. The application will be used to process both mission-critical data as well as non-essential batch jobs. Which of the following is the most cost-effective option to use in implementing this architecture? Use ECS as a container management service. Use ECS, okay, screw all this. Then set up a combination of reserved and spot EC2 instances for processing mission-critical and non-essential? No. Then set up reserved instances processing both mission critical. On demand instance processing both mission. Okay. Mission critical. I just don't believe that most cost-effective option. The most cost-effective, okay, whatever. A website is running on an auto-scaling group of on-demand instances which are abruptly getting terminated from time to time. To automate the monitoring process, you started to create a simple script which uses the AWS CLI to find the root cause of the issue. Which of the following is the most suitable command? Your manager instructed you to use Route 53 instead of an ELB to load balance the incoming request to your web app. The system is deployed at 2 EC2 instances which the traffic needs to be distributed to. You want to set a specific percentage of traffic to go to each. An online stock trading portal is deployed in AWS. In order to complete the setup, you need to offload the SSL TLS processing of your web servers using CloudHSM. Wow. This will reduce the burden of your web servers and provide extra security by storing your web server's private key in the cloud-based hardware security module. Which of the following statements is not true about Amazon CloudHSM? AWS manages the hardware security module appliance but does not have access to your keys. Not true. Your HSMs are in your private.
I'm trying to be discreet, I feel like Roddy Rich. How you supposed to be my dog? You wanna murk me though. Signed to the streets 3 times, I feel like Durkio. Counting up a tech while on the jet, I ain't talking Tokyo. You told them lies to me, no Pinocchio. And then you got the nerve to ask me how I feel, nigga. Pulling up for them real niggas. I wanna tell the world about you just so they could get jealous. And if you see a fall through, tell us.
Single AZ, I don't think that's the case.
Catch the opposition, guarantee I'ma scratch it. So we bet not let me catch 'em. All the real niggas in heaven, man, I need someone to call. Nowadays these phones tap, I don't even wanna talk on a very long road. These niggas ain't never walked on. My back against the rope, she cut her tie so I could fall on. You wasn't built to hold shit down, that's why you turned your back on me. You couldn't hold me down even if you ain't on some gravity. I built my own empire, they tryna take down my masterpiece. I think they mad I turn my dreams into reality. See, I was grinding out my trunk, I feel like masterpiece. Pulling up for the real.
That's the problem. The social media company that you are working for needs to capture the detailed information of all HTTP requests. The social media company that you're working for needs to capture the detailed information of all HTTP requests that went through their public-facing application load balancer every 5 minutes. They want to use this data for analyzing traffic patterns and for troubleshooting their web applications in AWS. Which of the following options meet the user's requirements? Probably the CloudWatch logged agent, not the metrics. I don't know. You are a solutions architect working for a startup which is currently migrating their production environment to AWS. Your manager asks you to set up access to the AWS console using IAM. You have created 5 users for your system admins. What further steps do you need to take to enable your system admins to get access to the AWS console? It's probably this one too. I don't know, I'm just gonna keep going. Yeah, we just launched a new API gateway service which uses AWS Lambda as a serverless computing service. What type of protocol will your API endpoint be exposed? This could be a trick question. I'm not here right now. Okay. An application is hosted on an on-demand EC2 instance and is using AWS SDK to communicate to other AWS services as S3, DynamoDB, and many others. Cool. As part of the upcoming IT audit, you need to ensure that all API calls to your AWS resources are logged and thoroughly stored. All calls to your resources are logged. Okay. You're working as a principal solutions architect for a leading digital news company which has both on-prem data center as well as AWS cloud infrastructure. They store their graphics, audio, video, and other multimedia assets primarily S3 standard storage bucket as a backup. Their data are heavily used for only a week, but after that period it will be infrequently used by their customers. You are instructed to save storage costs in AWS, yet maintain the ability to immediately fetch their media assets for the surprise annual audit, which will be conducted both on-prem and... okay.
once my home, now agitated. The fear, it came, it infiltrated.
Your company has a web-based ticketing service that utilizes SQS and a fleet of EC2 instances. The EC2 instances that consume messages from the SQS queue are configured to pull the queue as often as possible to keep end-to-end throughput as high as possible. You notice that pulling the queue in tight loops is using unnecessary CPU cycles, resulting in increased operational costs due to empty responses. In this scenario, what would you do to make the system more cost-effective? Nice. A leading bank has an application that is hosted on an auto-scaling group of EBS-backed EC2 instances. As a solutions architect, you need to provide the ability to fully restore the data stored in the EBS volumes by using snapshots. Which of the following approaches provide the lowest cost for EBS stored snapshots? You're working for a large financial firm in the country. They have an AWS environment which contains several reserved EC2 instances hosted, or reserved EC2 instances hosted in a web app that was decommissioned last week. To save costs, you need to stop incurring charges for the reserved instances as soon as possible. Saving the thing. That's the only thing you can do, right? I learned something. Really cool. A local bank has an an in-house application which handles sensitive financial data in a private subnet. After the data is processed by the EC2 worker instances, they will be delivered to S3 for ingestion by other services. How should you design the solution so that the data does not pass through the public internet? The data analytics company, a data analytics company, keeps a massive volume of data which they store in their on-prem data center. To scale their storage systems, they are looking for cloud-backed storage volumes that they can mount using Internet Small Computer System Interface. Internet Small Computer System Interface devices on their on-prem application service. They have an on-site data analytics application which frequently accesses the latest data subsets locally, while the older data are rarely accessed. You're required to minimize the need to scale the on-prem storage infrastructure while still providing the web app with low latency access to the data. Which type of AWS storage gateway service would you use to meet? I won't afford to reread. The data analytics company keeps a massive volume of data which they store in their on-premises data center. To scale their storage systems, they're looking for cloud-backed storage volumes that they can mount using ISCSI devices from their on-prem application servers. They have an on-site data analytics application which frequently accesses the latest data subsets locally, while the older data are rarely accessed. You are required to minimize the need to scale the on-premise storage infrastructure while still providing the web apps with low latency access to the data. At this point, I do like a tape gateway. Rarely accessed. Application data. Application which frequently accesses the latest data subsets locally while the older data is rare. But it's application, so that. Let's reveal. I got lazy on this one.
Music is not only an
Rapidly
expression
changing
of
data.
thought,
Ooh.
it's a carrier. Could soul be a matter of being brave enough to be vulnerable? To acknowledge the risks of being vulnerable and willingly accept them nonetheless? Music that voices deep pain, it somehow transforms that pain into beauty. By a kind of alchemy. It makes the bitter into hauntingly bittersweet.
Graph database. Okay.
I'ma leave it with what I came in for, now what you saying? You don't want to take it there, don't go there with us now. Walked in with a styrofoam cup with pen and racks off in my hands. And we ain't coming for the loose, we want it all. Smoking drugs, cause I need it. So I could be calm instead of dangerous when you see me. These niggas know we quick to let it blow for any reason. Kick down your door, post up on your front porch and we ain't leaving. When my grandma died, I had to beat the eyes and it wasn't easy. When Buzilla died, I almost lost my mind, broke me to pieces. It's like a knife for dumping all the risks, it ain't no secret. 38 across my neck, we beat them bars, you don't want beef with. Smoking drugs, smell it when I hit the dough, cause I need it. I ain't the one these pussy niggas know. I be fiending, hop out the car with diamonds round my throat. Bitch, I'm beaming, I don't think no nigga can't see me. I be paranoid while I'm leaning. Smoking drugs, cause I need it. So I could be calm instead of dangerous when you see me. These niggas know we quick to let it blow for any reason. Kick down your door, post up on your front porch and we ain't leaving. I'ma leave it with what I came in for, now what you saying? You don't want to take it there, don't go there with us now. Walked in with a styrofoam cup with pen and
Oh, wait.
and we ain't coming for the loose, we want it all. Whole lot of rats on these BBs, on some slime on they Glock, got a green bag. Got a whole lot of people that need me. Push your head all over the right thing. I ain't got nothing but a dub and a black card up beside my jeans. I just want head, can't fuck in the bed, it's just some things don't excite me. Testing your gun inside of the backyard, let it hit, get your aim up. My young and official, he wait in your backyard, and I call him the bank fella. Wake up in the morning, get fresh as a bitch, I'ma walk in and you and some more drugs. Ain't no way we gon' dump at the boat with the stick, I'ma finish him off with a phone drip. I be thinking about dump all over the time, this shit just don't feel right. I don't go to no club, I be taking these drugs, riding and keeping
This is wrong because single instance. Okay. Alright.
You don't want to take it there, don't go there with us now. Walked in with a styrofoam cup with pen and racks off in my hands. And we ain't coming for the loose, we want it all. Smoking drugs, cause I need it. So I could be calm instead of dangerous when you see me. These niggas know we quick to let it blow for any reason. Kick down your door, post up on your front porch and we ain't leaving.
Hey, the Juvie says yes, it's a go. It's your boy Sack says yes, it's a go. The Jay Green say yes, it's a go. And Track and Slout already on the go. That my water, that my brother, that my best. We ain't rapping like we step, we really step. 2 2 3 monkey nuts on Mac 11. All my nigga whacking shit like lethal wet. That my water, that my brother, that my best. For the right shit, always knew that I was destined. 2 2 3 monkey nuts on Mac 11. That my water, that my brother, that my best. That my little water, yeah. That my little
Assign existing IAM role to instances in the region.
She my little
Why?
We using manual when we training on no lifestyle. Hey, I can't smoke so bro, just pass me that new black and mild. Man, damn, I wish they be that fucking trap. I can't get high, nigga. Fuck the mathematics, you still a pie, nigga. Chopper go out like motherfucking 4th of July, nigga. Say you was on that shit, bro, you ain't even got a lie, nigga. Swing the doors, drop the windows, then we empty clips. Big blood, big D's, but I don't envy crips.
What?
Cause we ain't unity. Big effing in. Pull up on me, we gon' shoot you. We just gon' shoot your friend. Lil' man, fuck up the
Nice to know that.
I already fucked the environment. And she had a baby from me, guess what she born? The city of gift. Cause she know I'm a real nigga. She bouncing her dick like tick. I think she might die. Cause this ain't a dick, this fight. Hold up. That my water, that my brother, that my best friend. We ain't rapping like we step, we really step. Monkey nuts on Macalet. All my nigga whacking shit like lethal wet. That my water, that my brother, that my best friend. For the right shit, always knew that I was destined. 223 monkey nuts on Macalet. That my water, that my brother, that my best friend. That my the water, what? Yeah, that my the water. Yeah, that my the water, what? Baby, but fuck on my water, what? Baby, come fuck on my water. Yeah, that my the water. That my the water, yeah, she my the water, yeah. Damn, I went to jail more than twice, more than 3, more than 4, more than 5 fucking times.
By default, Cloud Trail event logs are encrypted using S3 server-side encryption.
Fucking pocket every time. Pull up and murder the bitch. How about what I got 26? I pull up in the coupe, let it hit. Stick together, I lean on stick. And my nigga be robbing for bricks. No, we really be robbing for bricks. You don't really want beef with the clique. I mean, that was really killing shit. That my water, that my brother, that my best friend. We ain't rapping like we step, we really steppin'. 223 monkey nuts on Macalet. All my nigga whacking shit like lethal wet. That my water, that my brother, that my best friend. For the right shit, always knew that I was destined. 223 monkey nuts on Macalet. That my water, that my brother, that my best friend. That my the water, what? Yeah, that my the water. Yeah, that my the water, what? Baby, but fuck on my water, what? Baby, come fuck on my water. Yeah, that my the water. Yeah, that my the water. Yeah, she my the water. Yeah. Hey, you know what I'm saying? I did what you saying, you did what I say. When he say what he did, and you say what I say, you did. You know what I'm saying, bro? That's the type of shit we kick.
It's been a little minute, bitch nigga, but I'm still with it. Stop flagging, you know what it said. Drop back in the back, no limit. Cut out that fake shit, I ain't winning. Let go. It's been a little minute, bitch nigga, but I'm still with it.
We looking for ops, young niggas letting off shots. They don't give a fuck about the cops, we clutching the mops. Bitch, if you lack at the trap, we taking whatever you got. We catching me drop, they aiming straight at your top. No dissing, we told them to stop. Hop out on this block, oh, the stick of the Glock. Don't matter, somebody get shot. We looking for ops, young niggas letting off shots. They don't give a fuck about the cops, we clutching the mops. Bitch, if you lack at the trap, we taking whatever you got. We catching me drop, they aiming straight at your top. No dissing, we told them to stop. Hop out on this block, oh, the stick of the Glock.
Tell me it's by default, okay?
Fuck all the cops, I know they hope we gon' stop, but the way that I'm living, I'm not. We stopping this block, catch him hop out with the Glock, and put that little bitch in a box. You think you gon' plot, he gotta be out of his top. The stick knock him out of his socks. I'm tryna turn a bitch nigga head high. Brand new stick came with a red dot. When that feel, I do this shit for real. Bitch, I'm tryna catch me a kill, don't come where I live. Young nigga slinging that steel, you play with your life and get killed. Shit get real, no step or two chew on them pills, and they'll come lay at your grill. Up from the hip, blow off his ribs, hop in the whip, now your mom is tears. All of my niggas get straight to the business. We got the mops and they come with the stitches. Clear the whole street, we ain't leaving no witness. Hated by minute, they say I'm a menace. Won't check in when I come to your city. You and all them bitch niggas gon' get it. This Draco way more than 20, so when I aim at your head, I won't miss it. We looking for ops, young niggas letting out shots. They don't give a fuck about the cops. We clutching the mobs. Bitch, if you lack at the trap, we taking whatever you got. We catching me drop. They aiming straight at your top. No dissing, we told them to stop. Hop out on this block. Oh, with the stick of the Glock. Don't matter, somebody get shot. We looking for ops, young niggas letting out shots. They don't give a fuck about the cops. We clutching the mobs. Bitch, if you lack at the trap, we taking whatever you got. We catching me drop. They aiming straight at your top. No dissing, we told them to stop. Hop out on this block. Oh, with the stick of the Glock. Don't matter, somebody get shot.
We looking for us, behind 23 by the drop. We spinning again, can't stop, keep talking with the chest. Slip with the hoe, got the draw. Red make his heart stop, fall out in public. Sending out them shots. We up new next to the draw, them niggas be snitching. All of them niggas, I'm bitches. All of them niggas, I'm bitches. All of my niggas sharp shooters. All of my niggas go get it. Tip full of steppers, ain't none that gon' get you. Running in this bad, no, this not a rental. My shooter's legendary, bitch, niggas, some beginners. Over this and when he really pretending, he clear on the blocks and them niggas go get him. Over this and when he really pretending, he clear on the blocks and them niggas gon' get him. Screaming out for the ops, face shot a nigga right in front of cops. Cold hearted, cold body, it's a bloody, bloody murder. Got some shit I hop out with, some you never ever heard of. Catch his ass, drop his ass, put him on the news, now he heard of.
We looking for ops, young niggas letting out shots. They don't give a fuck about the cops, we clutching the mobs. Bitch, if you lack at the trap, we taking whatever you got. We catching me drop, they aiming straight at your top. No dissing, we told them to stop. Hop out on this block, oh, with the stick of the Glock. Don't matter, somebody get shot. We looking for ops, young niggas letting out shots. They don't give a fuck about the cops, we clutching the mobs. Bitch, if you lack at the trap, we taking whatever you got. We catching me drop, they aiming straight at your top. No dissing, we told them to stop. Hop out on this block, oh, with the stick of the Glock. Don't matter, somebody get shot.
Let go, let go, let go.
Coolin' in the cut with my shooter. I don't even know who the fuck on this bitch. Read. Bullin' in the cut with my shooter. 30 clip hanging on the Ruger. And I got a clip full of shooters. And I'm in your dream, Freddy Krueger. Fucking with my niggas, bet they do, yeah. Coolin' in the cut with my shooter. Cut with my shooter clip hanging off the Ruger. Right on my room. And I'm in your dreams, Freddy Krueger. Spicy your ass with me, my young niggas will do ya. Yeah, they gon' do ya. My young niggas will do ya. Do ya. My young niggas will do ya. Hallelujah. She's screaming hallelujah. Screaming on her knees and she's screaming hallelujah.
Posted in the alley with that Draco. We comfortable in places niggas can't go. Touch my nigga Melly, let that thing go. These rap niggas pussy, where your chain go? The spots in Detroit, I supply them. I'm talking loud, we gon' buy him. Can't cook, but I'm gon' fry him. My advice, don't stand by him. 50 round chopper clip big on the K. Niggas start crazy on the gram every day. See the stick to me like I got a kid on the way. Fuck that, see if he can talk shit from the grave. Don't come over here tryna flex. Don't do it. You gon' get all that shit took. Give me that. Used to get sauce from the west. Shoot it to the east, get it cooked. Monday through Friday, I'm booked. 90 on the skelly, how it look. Still pull a kick though quick. Drop everybody in the house, John Wick.
Coolin' in the cut with my shooter. Cut with my shooter clip hanging off the Ruger. Right on my room. And I'm in your dreams, Freddy Krueger. Spicy your ass with me, my young niggas will do ya. Yeah, they gon' do ya. My young niggas will do ya. Do ya. My young niggas will do ya. Hallelujah. She's screaming hallelujah. Screaming on her knees and she's screaming hallelujah. Hey, hold the fuck up, man. Hey, hold up, man. Stop the beat real quick. Hold up. Free my nigga D, he caught a body. Bitch, I'm booted in the cut like I'm Scotty. Free my nigga, yeah, he do. And I got a mystery like ooh. In the van with the stick with my dog, Scooby-Doo. In the big guns, like that digit like a blurry. And my diamond BBS, they ain't blurry. Heard you signed a deal with the white man. And they say that you Illuminati. Boy, don't listen to them fucking critics. They gon' make me and Grizzly catch your body. I just be rolling, I be sober. My mama, I got put inside for blowsure. I'm a blood, so you know that me for closure. Don't fuck with us, them slime gon' slump you over. Yeah, slump you over. Where we at, we in lolly. Fuck your bitch, run her back and hit my doggy. I am not your boyfriend, bitch, you just my buddy. Just my buddy, bitch. And the nigga no black youngster, but I'm tryna keep cut it. Coolin' in the car with my shooter. Car with my shorty clear, hanging off the Ruger. Ride all my room, and I'm in your dreams, Freddy Krueger. Spicy, don't fuck with me, my young niggas will do ya. Yeah, they gon' do ya. My young niggas will do ya. Do ya. My young niggas will do ya. Hallelujah. She screaming hallelujah. Screaming on her knees and she screaming hallelujah.
I like to do what I wanna do, wanna play with your band. I get that money and fame now, my family don't understand. Shit getting realer and realer, came up on a couple of million, I invested in some buildings, look at my money and triple, shit getting realer and realer, I lost my bro to the system, I lost my bro to a pistol, they tried to take me with them, I can't go for that, no, I stay with killers every day. Keep it 40, it's hungry, I turn your block to a buffet, yeah, I spend a lot, Balenciaga jacket, Dior shade, I got a lean stain on it, I'ma give it to my maid, people love to talk about the money that they made, nobody wanna talk about the money that they save, who am I to talk about it, I blow money every day, cause I know when you die, you can't take this shit to your grave, Gucci and Louis shoes everywhere, I don't got no closet space, Versace draws my underwear,
alright,
big shit, expensive shit, all that shit, 12 gauge hit him, he do back, 40 hit him, Michael Jackson, big shit, expensive shit, all that shit, only wanna fuck one time, baby, I'm on the fall back shit. Matter of fact, you wanna fuck up, but you on the call back list. But if I hit it already, chances are I ain't finna call back, bitch. Shit getting realer and realer, came up on a couple of million, I invested in some buildings, look at my money and triple, shit getting realer and realer, I lost my bro to the system, I lost my bro to a pistol, they tried to take me with them, I can't go for that, no, I stay with killers every day. Keep it 40, it's hungry, I turn your block to a buffet, yeah, I spend a lot, Balenciaga jacket, Dior shade, I got a lean stain on it, I'ma give it to my maid. All these tennis chains on, I kinda feel like a slave. Bitch got a cum stain on my Gucci shirt, I threw it away. I'm so fly to you, I'm high to you, I take that to the grave. Having a thrill off these pills, I could OD any day. Chicken Rilla and Trilla, I came up on a lot of M's. Got a pop on the ops, we shooting at some never see 'em. I've been on the G6, it's gonna be very hard to see 'em. Turn a stripper to a maid, bringing magic to the crib. 7 carats on my ring, 7 carats on my ear. Chopper going off like ring. Got Peter Craig, yeah. I got Celine and codeine, I'm going out of here. Got more hoes than Yeezy clothes, they put up like souvenirs. Shit getting realer and realer, came up on a couple of million, I invested in some buildings, look at my money and triple, shit getting realer and realer, I lost my bro to the system, I lost my bro to a pistol, they tried to take me with them, I can't go for that, no, I stay with killers every day. Keep it 40, it's hungry, I turn your block to a buffet, yeah, I spend a lot, Balenciaga jacket, Dior shade, I got a lean stain on it, I'ma give it to my maid. I got fam going in this bitch.
Fam, go!
I'm living in my legs. Gotta go hard cause I heard some niggas knocking me. Watch my surroundings cause I heard some people watching me. Hustling, ambitious, swear to God it ain't no stopping me. They like the way I do it, so I guess that's why they copy me. In the rain, while I storming, gotta make it out. Stack up that money, none of my niggas will see us draw. They speaking on me, then you know it, I'ma see what it's about. 223 up in the closet, I'ma bring it out.
I made $1 million a month, and this money's not over. I had a talk with my dreams and told the mama like closer. I dropped the top on the roaster. In the trunk is my motor. The police can't never like us cause they can never control us. I pray I never lose focus. Hope one day they will notice that I'm the person that won but wasn't given the trophy. I got more drip than a